Hi, I'm Mark Wilson, the Engineering Heretic, and today we're going to look at making a different style of cutter. I've done this one before in the pantograph, the dark art. I demonstrated this, but I'll just do this on a separate video just to demonstrate what it actually is. We're going to make a hexagon cutter. Now, a hexagon cutter just uses the castellations of this particular head here, and basically every 60 degrees, I basically drop that into its little latch points at every 60 degrees. And to keep track of what I've got here, I've actually got some little center punches on this area here so that I can keep track of it. So it's basically 60 degrees, 120, 180, 240, 300, and 360. So that's the point there. Now, why is a hexagon cutter important? For a couple of reasons they are important. They're very useful in pantographs because if you have a D bit, they're quite shallow in what the depth they can cut. And if you want to make a very deep cut all the way down this area here, and you make that a D all the way, it becomes very weak. So what you want is something that will cut a little bit on the sides, but still have a D at the front, so it will cut a lot at the tip there. This is a very common cutter you use for engraving, and you taper them, and there's a bunch of ways of doing it, but effectively it's the same thing here. Now, because I'm using, normally I would go around maybe 20 degrees for a relief angle and put the radial relief on it. This time we're going to go to basically 60 degrees, which is quite a substantial angle in the back of this, because that's the facet we're talking about here. So that's the way we're going to approach this. And so now let's get going with this. And first of all, I want a 6mm diameter hexagon cutter. And of course, this is quarter, which is 6.35. So I can grind this down a little bit, and then I'll end up with the facet that I need. Let's start the grinder up. Put some light on it. Now we're roughing at the moment, so I'm going to dress this a little bit coarse. And we're going to start grinding this hexagon. Now I've got that on 0 at the moment, and we'll set a stop. Somewhere about there, so it comes in and hits that stop there. Let's see if I can move this up a little bit now. You see what's going on. Here we go. Stop is set there. We'll touch this on. And we're going to go every 60 degrees. let's have a look at that. Still see some little flats here, so I've got a little bit more further to go, so we'll go a little bit further. Have a quick measure, and we've got around about 0.2 to come off. What's that? That's 6 mil. And of course, now we need to split this in half. So we're going to put this on 180. And we're going to adjust our stop so we split this in half. We don't have to go all the way up this because our little facets will cut. Dress our wheel, make that a little bit rougher so it doesn't get too hot. Now we want to get a little bit finer now because I want to get this a bit smoother. So we're going to take a light dress on this, get it nice and smooth. That improves our finish a little bit. We'll just check and make sure we've taken enough off. There's still a little bit of a facet there. A little bit further to go. Fraction more. Right, that's good. Now, what I'm going to do is put this down to basically horizontal, and because half of that angle there between each one is 30 degrees, we're going to move our head over 30 degrees, rotate this around 30 degrees. Just come back a bit so you can see what's going on. So we're going to move this head around 30 degrees. Okay, so now that's on 30 degrees, but because this is 6 mil, we want to put a 1.5 radius on the corner of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to offset this. It's 6 mil across there. If I left that on 0, it would cut a full radius of 3 millimeters. We're going to do a 1.5 radius. So if I move this over 1.5 in that direction there, it will do a 1.5 radius on this corner. We'll undo our lock. We're looking for 1.5. Right, that's offset that by 1.5. And this little facet here is basically, it's 60 degrees between each facet there, but it's 30 degrees from horizontal in that direction. So that's why we have this over at 30 degrees now. Of course, I've moved this over, so we have to reposition. And as per usual, I wind my tool in. I'll just get a little bit closer here so you can see. As per usual, I bring my cutter over, bring this wheel over until I'm around about 0.25 of a millimeter away from the wheel. Now that 0.25, it's a bit of a guess, but what it does is when you touch this on the tip here and clean that up, you still, and then you rotate this thing around, you still have 0.25 to go over further, and then you use that to adjust this radius to get this right. So now I'm going to swing this around to square. We're going to rotate that around here, and all I really have to do is slide this up, this head up, until I just touch and clean up. Okay, I'm just going to lock this up now. Now, we're just cleaning up there, but I've still got 0.25 to come off the front of that and the sides. We'll swing this around square. Now, what I can't do with a hexagon cutter is rotate that for the relief. I can only cut the angle, and I can't rotate like this half turn thing because I'll wipe off my facets. So, we'll come in here, we'll bring this over a little bit square, and of course all I need to, I've run out of travel, I think. Yes, I have. Now I've got some movement. Right, here we go. Get that in the right spot. I rotate that around here, it will start cutting a little bit because I've got, that will clean up dead flush there. But every time I come over further here, I also cut a little bit for the front. But I can't rotate like I normally would because I'll wipe off the facets. This is my last cut. And of course, there I have my cutter. I'll just zoom back a bit so you can see it. There I have my cutter with the radius that I designed. Of course, we have this taper little angle going down here on the same angle as this 30 degrees here. Of course, I need to do just a little bit of hand grinding to tidy this up a little bit. So we'll take that out. We'll grind this back. We'll grind this back here up until we reach that corner, the start of that radius on the edge of the wheel. A bit of clearance until I just reach the corner. Not quite there yet. That looks pretty good. Now I do need to put a little bit of clearance down underneath here to make this cut a little bit better. So we'll just go to the front of the wheel and just grind a little bit on the corner. And there's my cutter, a Hexagon D bit with a 1.5mm radius on the front of it and a 6mm diameter. And of course I only had to take that flat part way up, not all the way, because these facets will cut a little bit. And that's a Hexagon D bit. And I'm Mark Wilson, and thanks for watching.